Welcome to Brain Wreck. I'm Jason X.
And I'm Kevin Graham.
And this is the best show on the internet.
Welcome back, everybody.
How y'all doing?
This is what now, like 2 weeks in a row we've been back? 2
It's like
weeks.
a new record for us.
I know. Like when you haven't been around for a while and then you show up twice, people go like, "Oh, he
could be
a
reliable.
social person." And then you know what you do
Right?
after that is you just dip. You just dip out. And
Always
everybody's
leave
like,
them wanting more.
Always leave them wanting more, which is what we do every week on this show, which is why you should subscribe, hit that like, ring the notification, comment, share, let your friends know, tell all your, classmates, for all you kids that are back to school. Hopefully you're not watching this because this is typically like
School
an
night
adult-oriented, show.
Although we could be the Beavis and Butthead of the new generation.
Bro, I heard a story on YouTube the other day about a guy who was running a booth at a convention.
Okay.
And it made me feel old, which was like the intention of the story. Because he goes, it was like a gaming convention or something, and he had two stations set up for a game he developed. One station was with a controller, one station was with a mouse and keyboard. Like none of the kids came up and used the mouse and keyboard because they either didn't know how to use it or it just wasn't like their hands couldn't work it.
Sure, right, yeah.
So they're like, okay, let's ditch the keyboard and mouse. Let's go get another controller for them to play with. Next day, they set everything up. He said half of the kids walked up to the computer monitor and just started touching the monitor.
Yeah.
And he's like, we've come to a point where kids no longer know how to use a controller.
That's, that, and kids evolve, and that's the thing. Like my 11th grade physics teacher once said, he stood up in front of the class and he said, do you all know why more guys jerk off with their left hand? It's because they got to use the right to click the mouse.
I don't think your physics teacher should have been something there doesn't
the
sit
science
with me.
No,
that's not. I mean, that is a nope. Kids, if you happen to be listening, which hopefully
again you're not,
and if you are, hopefully your internet activities are being monitored by your parents. It's
if not, Google is.
That's not okay. No.
It was a different time. It was the mid-aughts.
Was it really that different?
Think about it this way. You think about what happened back in like 2005.
I do often.
Most of that wouldn't fly today.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. I agree with you.
Think about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, most stuff like most stuff from decades past will not fly today.
That's true.
But they still try to make it fly.
It's so fly it never lands.
What are we talking about? What are we? So subscribe. Rate us or roast us. Roast us. Either or.
One thing I did want to bring up because we're talking about, as a viewer.
Hello.
Your duty is to inform other people of this product because it's for the betterment of society, right? So, as me, what are you doing there?
My overhead light was yellowed, so I looked.
I was gonna say, you just got a tan there, fella.
No, I kind of listen, man. Summer is just about over, and the base tan is no longer here. It's soon to be not sleeveless summer anymore. It's gonna be spooky season.
Christy showed up confused.
She just showed up confused. Christy, we've been going at this for 7 minutes and we're confused. So welcome to the
show.
Welcome to the show.
But anyways,
what were you trying to say?
So again, as growing up, and this just shows, how isolated a lot of people can be.
Mhm.
Like, nobody teaches you the value of community, you know?
Um, I'll agree with that
Mhm.
to some extent.
Like, nobody really teaches you like, the kids today are fucked.
They
Like,
are.
the kids that the COVID kids, which
Yeah,
I hope they get a better nickname, but,
I do
like,
too.
COVID
Like, fuck
kids,
that.
isolated from society,
Mhm,
don't know how to interact with one each other. It's
mhm.
always awkward. Like, you have to experience the awkwardness to know that it's awkward to not do that kind of,
Yeah,
and they missed, like, all that.
yeah,
So, like, awkward things are happening past points where they shouldn't be anymore,
yeah.
and what I'm trying to say is, you need community.
You need community.
It's important to us as a society.
Yeah,
So as a community, your duty is to tell more people about this
about
show.
this show because
Exactly.
we are building a digital community
That's right.
that welcomes almost everybody. If you're an asshole, we don't want you here. But if
Not
you're a
really.
good person with a good nature,
Mhm. Tell a
come
joke.
on board. Yeah, tell a
Yeah.
joke.
But it's also our duty to inform you, when you may be, attacked, you may be duped, you may
Duped,
be, swindled,
did
as
you
it
get swindled?
were. So I have to warn you all about the magic bullet.
The
And I am not talking about the one that
I
killed
was I was
JFK.
gonna say the one that got Kennedy?
Talking about the blender,
Oh, the
folks.
blender. Oh, here we go.
Which, like, what a name. Like,
Somebody knew what they were doing.
somebody knew what they were doing.
They were like, I listen, this conspiracy goes all the way to the top, and I'm just gonna start planting imagine okay, hang on, real talk. I'm gonna let you get
Mm,
back to your story. But
sure.
imagine a brand
Mm,
creating a product that is solely like their sole intention
mhm.
is to not just give you a quality product,
Right.
but subliminally push a conspiracy theory,
It's
you
wonderful.
know? Just like you're reading through the instructions, like, make sure that you oil this pan every time you use it. You're welcome to use olive oil,
Mhm.
avocado oil, not the oil that Bush stole from Iraq.
No.
But just
If
like
if the blender gets stuck, just go back and to the left.
just go back into the left, you know?
Fucking A.
Okay, so what do you got on the magic bullet?
Mm. So, we had a magic bullet.
Yeah.
Had one for years. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Mhm.
Finally died on us.
Oh,
But you can't be too upset, because nothing's made to last anymore.
no.
Not in this country, not
Not
in any country.
no.
Everything's
Well,
disposable.
I mean, I think some countries are kinda like keeping it to themselves.
Well, me and the missus had this conversation earlier today,
Mhm.
and it's that unless you're willing to actually shell out the money for a brand named product,
Right.
you're almost better off not buying it at all.
Like the brand or the product
The
itself?
product, because
Product?
anytime you go for a cheaper version of, like, the
Oh,
quality product,
yeah, 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 sure.
you just end up spending more money
Yeah.
because you have to replace it more often. So,
Mhm.
anyway, point being, folks, had a magic bullet, loved it. Protein shakes every morning.
Mhm.
Throw that peanut butter in there. You
Oh,
get yourself
fucking peanut butter, man.
fucking A, dude. You fill that motherfucker 3/4 of the way full of ice.
Okay.
You put your protein powder in.
Mhm.
You put 2 scoops of peanut butter. Let's
Only
let's
2?
let- let's not get crazy.
Mm,
Fill that motherfucker up with water. You blend that. You got yourself a protein slushy. God damn.
that's pretty good.
Except for a $4
Except
toaster.
for a $4 toaster. That got I mean,
That's worth its weight in gold.
that went through 2 households.
We still have it because we're not impressed with the big toaster that we just bought.
Yeah.
So the magic bullet died,
Okay.
and so we're in the market, and we don't want to go with like the Blender because
Right.
like the attachments that we already have don't fucking work.
Yeah.
So like we're already like halfway invested into another magic bullet anyway
Mhm.
because we have the cups and the fucking gimmicks and whatever the fuck. And We go to Walmart.
Yeah.
And we like, okay, we don't need the fucking 11-piece set. Like,
No.
we've got all the shit. We just need the blender.
Right.
So we buy just the blender.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Part.
Yep.
Bring it back to the house. It makes a smoothie. It makes a protein shake.
Mm-hmm.
It makes half another smoothie and dies.
Wow.
Will not work. Does not turn on. So we pack it up, bring it back to Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I go up to the customer service lady. It's 9:30 at night. She's had a day.
Jeez.
Okay. I go up there. I'm the only one, and I'm just standing there. And so I go to her. I go, I would like to exchange this, please.
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, oh, we don't fucking do that anymore.
Oh,
like we don't exchange things. She goes, I'm gonna give you a gift card, and you have to go rebuy it. And I'm like, that's fine. I don't care.
At the end of the day, yeah.
And she goes, so what's wrong with it? I'm like, well, it's broken. And she goes, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I'm very sure. Very sure it's very broken.
Still got my peanut butter in it.
Right, like, fucking A, right? And so she like half opens the box just to make sure I didn't do the old block with dick on it.
Yeah, with a dick on it.
With a dick on it. Like, so she sees that it's a blender and then puts it back in. And she goes, what's your favorite one? And I'm like, of the blenders? Like, I've only had like the magic. And she goes, no, your shirt. I go, what? And I look, and I'm wearing a Back to the Future shirt.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, where the fuck did this come from? Like, what's the
She's
fuck?
had a long day.
She's had a long day. So, and then we end up having a 15-minute conversation about Back to the Future in there.
Oh my God.
And so we go and I buy another blender.
Yeah.
And it just died.
Again?
Yeah. The new one just died like half an hour ago. It made 2 smoothies and half a milkshake.
Can I say something?
Sure.
That whole story just gave me a fuck ton of anxiety. I hated every event that occurred in that story.
Mm-hmm.
Because the amount of times I've had to like buy something and then it just does not work. I'm like, oh fuck, now I got to go back, return it, go through that whole ordeal. And then just like to be in the customer service line at Walmart, just I have PTSD. And then to be just sitting there for 15 minutes talking to the cashier or the customer service person just with like small talk, I hate. I hate that.
Hate it.
A minute or two, fine, no problem. I'm all about the hey, how you doing? Oh, nice shirt. Oh yeah, big fan of the
rather
movie.
social, honestly. Like I'm like we've been, we were just together.
Yeah,
almost 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and every time we're out and about, you're like chit chatting with people.
Well, see, it's a different setting. Because like if I'm going to okay, so for instance, if I'm going back to Walmart to return something, I have a mission.
Right.
I have a goal in mind. I have an objective. I'm already in a mood because I've got to go back and exchange a product that I paid for and now it's broken.
Right.
But like I go in and I'm like, okay, this is the objective. This is what I need to do. I want to get it done and knocked out in this amount of time.
Right.
And then the moment people start to like slow me down, just like, nope, I
already don't want to.
I got to move. I don't want to be here. I got to move. It's a lot like there are times when I will go to like buy something at a store and I can tell the person is like trying to like make small talk. And like a lot of times I will.
Sure.
But then there are times where I'm just like, yes, it's a very nice shirt. Thank you.
See, that's me all the time. Like I can't be bothered.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Like people who are working at the store that are coming up to me asking like, oh, do you need any help? No. I'm good. I'm just looking around. Okay. Have you looked at? No. I'm good. I kind of know my vibe right now.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh, that's a nice. You know what? Like, I appreciate what you're trying to do. I know you have to do it, but you don't have to do it with me. I've been in your shoes before, and I know that I didn't like it, and I know that you don't like it. So let's just part ways, okay? And
this is mutual.
Allow me to enjoy my quiet retail experience while you go put comics back on the shelf or something. Okay. Right. I don't want to slow down your job. Okay.
Of course,
you probably have things you need to do. I got things I need to do.
Maybe.
And that thing is just to shop in silence. So yeah.
So now we have to figure out what the fuck we're gonna do with a third broken Man, I can't go back. Like,
You
fool me once. Fuck.
what is? I mean, I would say go back, but then like also like call up the Magic Bullet people.
Well, I figured I talked about them on this show,
Oh
and
yeah.
then it would get back to them. So, like, I'm hoping.
Oh, so this is why everybody needs to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes,
So
exactly.
then
We're
it
we're
kind of
building a community
it
here.
builds that awareness. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, if everybody who sees this uh likes it and
Mm,
then reaches out to Magic Bullet and says, "Hey, why did you sell Jason Axe 3 broken blenders?"
right.
They'll
What the
come back
fuck?
with a
We
response.
got heat?
Yeah. Maybe they'll send you a care package. Be like, "Oh, we're so sorry." You know?
I think we need to
No, we
open
weren't
up.
in Dallas, Texas on that day.
No, not at all.
Not at
I
all.
think we need to start a segment on this show
Okay.
that where everyone as a community,
Okay.
we come
As
together.
a community, you
We
know?
come together, and if you wanna submit a product that you wanna motherfuck for so that we don't buy it,
You,
we'll do this weekly on the show. Like, submit your products that are terrible.
you know what's funny is yesterday. For
Mm,
some reason, I was thinking about this. Um, when we were moving into the house and Lowe's just kept motherfucking us
mm,
and how pissed I got and
yeah,
how little of a shit that they cared.
mhm.
So I was like, yeah, fuck them. I still haven't gone back.
Yeah, don't go back.
Yeah, fuck Lowe's.
I can't go back to the Magic Bullet.
Can't go back to the Magic
Now I
Bullet.
gotta buy a whole new system. I need my peanut butter. I need my protein.
You know, I almost bought 4 pounds of peanut butter today.
Hold on. We gotta talk about this.
Okay.
What's your peanut butter of choice?
Like brand or consistency?
Brand.
Brand. See, I go with the local grocery store brand. I
Mm.
was that way when we were in New
It's very
York
hipster of
shopping at the
you.
Wegmans. Nope, it is very economically sound for me
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
it's a little bit cheaper and I don't mind the taste. I quite enjoy it. It's fine.
Okay.
I enjoy me the store brand peanut butter, and I'll even go one further. I enjoy me the store owned brand of peanut butter because you know how like every store there's like there's like the Wegmans, but then
Right.
there's like the brand that Wegmans owns,
Right.
and
Yes.
then like they
Yes, yes,
also
yes.
sell like a more kind of like a cheaper version. So
Right.
like we've got the HEB,
Mhm.
and then we've got the Hill Country Fair. So like I buy like the Hill Country Fair peanut butter,
Mm.
still good. I was just like holding a 4-pound jug of it today, and I was just like, I'm
There was
not
a
going to get through this in enough time to where it's going to be worth it.
there was a period of time where in the house,
Mm-hmm.
we had Great Value,
Yeah.
we had Peter Pan,
Yeah.
we had Jif, and we had Jif All Natural.
Okay.
So I was doing blind taste tests
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, we were doing the Coke challenge,
Oh, okay.
and unanimously, across the board,
Yeah.
without a doubt, the best peanut butter is the Jif All Natural.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, well, all natural peanut butter is pretty good.
Yeah, like
Pretty damn good.
it doesn't compare.
It's just like a different level.
Mhm.
But like I don't need to be on that level. Sometimes I'm okay at the bottom. You know?
Yeah, but there's also a bottom that I'm not willing to go. And listen,
Yeah.
as someone who's dirt ass fucking poor,
Sure.
which is me,
Yeah.
the Great Value is not worth it.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, it's real bad. Like, Aldi's is wonderful. Go get yourself some
All these is good.
Aldi's,
Yeah.
you know? But a Great Value peanut butter, might as well be licking the floor.
Okay. That's sure.
But anyway, gotta find me a new blender.
Yeah. The moral of all of that is we're going to start a community. Folks, you're going to be part of it.
Yeah.
The whole goal for this week is to get Jason Axe a new blender.
Tell me else what sucks in the chat. What? Like,
Okay.
I won't
We
buy
don't need this to be a shit fest.
I won't buy a fucking thing that's Black & Decker. Won't do it. It's a horrible product.
Yeah. Okay.
But one thing that was not a horrible product was this goddamn WWE show.
The Bash in Berlin.
A Bash in Berlin. I watched the whole motherfucking show.
I did too. Mostly.
Couldn't believe. I mean,
A little bit,
today.
a little passively, but mostly I was there for the entire thing.
I was mostly passively.
You were mostly passively?
Okay.
I
So
was a little passively.
I started out watching it while I was rowing.
Okay.
So like I got a good half an hour of straight. I got that opening match.
Yeah.
I watched that whole opening match,
Oh, okay.
start to
Yeah.
finish. And then after that, I had to watch it throughout the day. So I was doing shit.
Yeah.
I got things to
A little
do.
here, a little there.
So like, but I know what happened. I know what was
Yeah.
going on. I
Yeah.
watched the important things.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll start off, not burying the lead here.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I enjoyed the show. I thought it was a fine show.
It was okay.
You thought it was okay? Oh yeah. I mean, it was. It. I think they're really starting to change up the cadence of how they do the pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
Pay-per-view premium live event. I don't care what you want to call it. It's
Sure.
a pay-per-view. Like even the wrestlers call them pay-per-view still.
Right.
Because it seems like, obviously they've got their big shows, your SummerSlams, your Survivor Series. Like those, I think, are only going to continue to get better. I mean, SummerSlam was one of the best shows that they've done in, I think I said it the other week, in the past 15 years. One of the best ones. Definitely one of the top shows of the last 5 years, I think. And it seems like they are doing more of these overseas shows as sort of like the, in your house type events. Because you've got the Clash, you've got the Bash, so what? They've gone to Scotland, they've gone.
It's the Canadian Stampede of
yeah. So like you've got your Clash at the Castle in Scotland, your Bash in Berlin, your Royal Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia,
right, which is still my
Australia. They're going to
they're doing things over there.
Backlash in France, Elimination Chamber in Australia.
Going back to France.
Well, no, that was like earlier in the year.
Well, please don't go back. Can we talk about? Can we talk about the fans?
So sour.
Can we talk about the fans? Can we talk about the crowd here?
Sure. I thought the crowd was great.
Here's the thing. We went just recently to Monday Night Raw.
We did.
Right?
Yeah.
We watched probably one of the most heated segments in the past 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Live, in person. You couldn't hear yourself think. It was so fucking loud when the goddamn legend of Dominic Mysterio was on the mic talking about chicken tendies, right?
Yeah.
You went back and watched it on TV. They did not present that atmosphere whatsoever.
Nope. No.
Now here in Berlin, they were going to do the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a distinct moment in the opening match, and it's not far into the opening match.
Okay.
Where the crowd level goes up. Because the audio guy said, like France was a big deal. So like these fuckers are going to do the same thing. So let's make sure we mic the fucking audience right.
Right.
So there's a little crowd sweetening going on.
Yeah.
But the one thing I'll give the folks in Berlin is they know when to shut the fuck up. Okay, it wasn't the constant fucking bullshit that happened in France.
Sure.
They actually let it rest. They let it breathe.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still things that, like, whenever there was a fucking near fall, I thought I was watching Cool Runnings. Like, it was just, I'm trying, like we're pushing the sled. We're getting ready to, like, and it happened every time.
Yeah.
Threw me off. Where's John Candy? I don't know. So, besides that, crowd was wonderful.
Crowd was great.
Wonderful.
I think it's great that we're seeing a little bit of new life at some of these shows. Which, listen, I have watched many WWE pay-per-views where it's a lot of okay, and then it's just like, kind of slow and people seem not excited, but like they're enjoying it per se. But no, I think from the viewer standpoint at home, I've enjoyed seeing a live crowd with a lot of energy because I think it adds to the energy of the show itself, which keeps me interested.
For the most part. For the
Yeah.
most part. So now let's get into the show a
Yeah.
little bit. Opening contest,
Mhm.
you had Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
On paper, probably going to be a good match.
Mhm.
Outcome is pretty predictable as to what's
Mhm.
going to happen. What did you think about the match?
I thought it was fine.
It was a fine match.
I thought it was a fine match. And I'm gonna here. You're gonna hear me say this for every match
Mhm.
because I thought the show was fine. I thought it was good overall. Nothing blew me away,
Mm.
but I don't think it was bad.
It wasn't a
I don't,
bad.
I don't. I don't think anything was necessarily bad. I don't really
Mm.
have any major criticisms. I've got more criticisms about storylines, which we'll get into in a moment.
Okay.
But overall, yeah, it was fine. It was fine. I enjoyed it. It was fine.
I will say the biggest takeaway from the Kevin Owens Cody Rhodes match
Mm-hmm.
is how fucking right Roman Reigns was.
The
The fucking Crossroads fucking sucks.
Crossroads sucks.
It doesn't beat anybody. Like he hit that move 7 fucking times in this match.
Okay, I'll say this because this is something that I've been noticing more and more lately, especially with the WWE. Finishers are no longer protected.
No, not at all.
I don't know if they're and like maybe there is, and I just can't think of one off the top of my head. But many like finishing maneuvers are kickouts. Like it is crossroads, kick out. Then he's got to hit the 3 crossroads. It is just constant kicking out. And then on top of that, everybody is doing each other's shit.
Mm-hmm.
How many guys are doing spears now? How many guys are doing super kicks? Now you've got
The spears is ridiculous.
The spear is the new super kick. I don't need just because they're a big speedy dude. I don't need everybody doing a spear.
Mm-mm.
You've now got Damian Priest doing the Razor's Edge on Raw, and now you got Ethan Page doing the Razor's Edge on NXT. Fine, they were both using them at the same time, but I mean, come on, protect it. And then you got Cody Rhodes with the Cody Cutter, and then you got that other dude on NXT who's doing the same move. Granted, that dude does it well. It looks very nice. I mean, but like if I'm Cody, I'm like, fuck
you.
I'm the top of this company right now.
Right.
And that dude does my move better than me.
Mm-hmm.
What does that leave him with?
You think Steve Austin would let somebody else do the stunner?
Fuck no.
I mean, he does now.
Hell
but
no.
Not.
Well, that's different. I mean,
that's different.
Austin on top ain't nobody doing
the
stunner.
No way.
No. Like, how many dudes did you see hitting a super kick on WWE television when Shawn Michaels was on top?
Nobody.
Mm-mm. You know, you'd have a couple guys sharing moves, but it made sense.
Right.
You know, Kane did the Undertaker shit because it made sense in gimmick. But yeah. Cody needs do you think Cody needs a new hold?
He needs to protect something. Like everybody kicks out of the Cody Cutter, everybody kicks out of the disaster kick, everybody kicks out of the crossroads. He needs a move. Like I always felt like everybody should have that move that is a finisher that works most of the time. But then everybody should have that move that is that one move that if it's hit, ain't nobody kicking out. Whether that's your one-winged angel, whether that's, protect the goddamn clothesline from hell, whatever the fuck. Like, you have to have a move that is unbeatable.
Is it? Yes. Because then when somebody kicks out of it finally,
fuck, it means so much more.
Yeah. And I'm wondering too if that has just become more of a product of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because like back in the day, guy would hit his finisher and that'd be it.
Yeah.
Or the guy would hit his finisher and somebody would kick out and he'd be like, holy fuck.
Yep.
Oh, Christy. Yes, Christy Sephiroth is a wrestler. You have probably seen this guy. I think we've talked about him a couple times. Kenny Omega.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. He's very Final Fantasy inspired.
Indeed. Indeed.
Indeed. But yeah, I think we need more of that. I feel like you're getting a little bit of that with, you know, you're getting that with some people, but I don't think it's enough. Like, it does seem like, when Braun Breaker hits the spear,
Mm,
like that is it. And not for nothing, ain't nobody should be doing a spear other than Braun Breaker right now. Um,
that's true.
even Roman.
I think Roman needs a new hold.
He needs a new hold.
He needs to come back with something.
Something new, something fresh. But yeah, where was I going with this?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
So I did in fact like, but also did so the thing. Other thing about this show that fucking was both incredible and annoying at the same time. Let's talk about Wade Barrett for a minute.
Wade Barrett. Okay.
I both love and hate him.
Really? Okay.
At the same time.
Okay.
Because he's so ridiculously over the top
Mm-hmm.
in very subtle ways.
Yeah.
That I'm just like this. Like, if you analyze what the fuck he's saying, he is a madman.
He is.
But in the confines of like pro wrestling, you're like, he's doing pro wrestling announcer.
Yeah.
Is what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
And like some of the things is like, he was talking, and it was in like, I think the next match where he's like the unholy union, and like, send them to the underworld and things like. I'm just like, what the fuck are you saying? You're a fucking wrestling announcer. Like, what are you talking about?
I have noticed a bit more hyperbole and the way the commentators are talking on TV and the PLEs now. I think the new guy they got on Raw from ESPN, everybody was like, "Oh, like this is a big deal," and I was like, "I don't like who."
Oh, I don't
like,
know.
Okay, yeah, cool. It's a big deal, I guess. Listening to some of the stuff he was saying in like the recap videos and whatnot, I was like, "Oh, he gets it."
Oh, okay.
Because he is saying just the most ridiculous shit. if you didn't like the segment between Drew and Punk on Monday, just listening to this guy call it, I'm like, this is like the 80s.
Okay.
He is like, he's shoving the beads down CM Punk's throat right. Oh my God, somebody needs to stop this. And I'm like, it's like Foley just get thrown off the cell again?
Right.
Like, what is
God
happening?
Almighty? It's broken.
I don't mind it.
Right.
Because again, like I like my pro wrestling like a monster truck show. I like it big, over the top, and colorful. And if he's gonna bring that, that style, like sure, hell yeah. But I do see what you mean with like Wade Barrett, because he's kind of in that middle ground of like being over the top, but also because he is they've been really highlighting the commentators and the announce team lately. So like I think Wade Barrett was listed as like the analyst.
Right.
But he's still doing a lot of that like over the top color commentary style.
Like that. Right.
Yeah.
And then on the other foot, you've got Michael Cole, who's a fucking alien. Like, he speaks in a way that nobody talks ever. Like, I wrote down in the Randy Orton match.
Okay, yeah.
He said, "This is the old Randy Orton who has no absence of malice." Like, who the fuck talks like that? Who talks like that? A fucking alien. That's not how people talk.
I mean, you know what's crazy though is I hear that and I'm like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
Right. That's
like
a goddamn.
This is the only place where you can get away with shit like that is in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And I enjoy, and I think a lot of the reason why a lot of people are sort of taken aback by it all right now is because for 20 years, everybody had to talk like a robot.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to say moves. You weren't allowed to say wrestler. You weren't allowed to like really highlight backstory and talk about the fact that this guy used to work for that company. Like everything was talk about things that aren't pro wrestling while we're watching pro wrestling. And it's like, well, but that's not what we're seeing. So I think now
the thing. Talk about the thing we're watching.
So I think now when we're like hearing, I mean, listen, I'm not the biggest Pat McAfee fan. Not really a Pat McAfee fan at all. But like you hear him and Michael Cole just riffing on Monday Night Raw, And some of the shit that they're saying is just off the cuff ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's fun.
And they're just trying to
it
crack each
adds a
other,
sense of
which is
humor. Yeah. And I mean that like you go and you watch some like baseball games, like if the game's kind of boring, like the camera will start, panning the crowd, and then the commentators will start making fun of, like the people in the audience.
That's the gig, right?
That's
there.
the gig,
because 9 out of 10 times the game's going to be boring as fuck.
Yeah,
it's baseball.
Yeah, so
and it's supposed to be relaxing.
You gotta give people something to focus on, and if the match sucks, you want a commentating team that's having fun. If the crowd's dead, you need something to kind of pop the people at home.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. And I like being popped.
I like being popped.
So my other match, so I thought that to wrap up Cody and Kevin, they've made such a huge fucking deal about him not winning belts for 7 years.
Yes.
And I'm like, man, that's like, when you really think about it, like, why haven't they given homie the belt?
I have a thought. I have a thought.
Okay.
I want to get to that thought after, because I think this is an idea for me that I had.
Okay. Oh, you got the pencil?
And if I had the pencil,
okay.
Yes, and it will tie in to the Gunther Randy Orton match.
Okay.
So when we get there, I'll circle back to it all.
Okay. Kevin Owens not being able to pull the trigger, being a dastardly son of a bitch, cost him the match.
Yep.
Decent story, decent match, good opener.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
From
Solid.
Me. Yep. Next up, we had, was it the women's tag?
The women's tag. Yep.
Which was fine.
Yeah.
Nothing really to report about that one.
No,
other than Wade Barrett's ridiculous fucking commentary.
It's very ridiculous.
Yeah.
I will say, it's nice to see that Jade Cargill seems to be like more and more comfortable with the WWE style.
Yes.
It seems like she's been given good direction, and like, I mean, fuck, she is insanely talented as it is. But you often see when new performers come into the WWE, there's sort of that culture shock aspect of the WWE does it a very specific way, which is very different from how people on the indies or in other companies would do it, because you have to train really so that everybody can kind of do sort of the same stuff and move in unison. So it's been good to see her getting more reps. I think that she is going to kill it.
Yeah.
Onward and upward.
So my other takeaway from this match was absolute fucking shame on the WWE media, merchandising, and just in general, just the merchandising team. Like, how fucking dare they? Like, as far as I know, not once have they sold a Bianca Belair hair extension.
I mean, I
fuck you. That's printing money.
I don't.
That's printing money. How many times have you gone to a goddamn Green Bay Packer game and you see a motherfucker in a goddamn cheese head swinging a goddamn towel in the air? You're killing two birds with one stone with a Bianca Belair hair extension. You clip that motherfucker to your head. You swing it over your head like a helicopter. You're printing money.
I'm going to say I think your heart is in the right place. and we'll go to the next match. Folks, he means nothing but the best. I will say that his heart is in the right place.
I would listen. They sold foam fingers.
I'll explain to you later.
Okay.
But if you want to talk about a missed fucking merchandising opportunity, let's talk about CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre.
Holy fuck! What a missed opportunity this was. Hold on. Let me.
How? Look at that! Look at that! Hey, look at that!
$13.99.
$13.99. That's probably, yeah. You sell those at the merch stand?
And
guys, guess what? They've sold bracelets for wrestlers in the past.
They sold heart-shaped sunglasses for a motherfucker who didn't wear heart-shaped
He didn't wear
sunglasses.
heart-shaped sunglasses. What, like a 80 cents to make,
Oh, brother, if that.
$10
This
to
is a
buy,
quarter.
a quarter
A
to make,
quarter.
$10 to buy. You would sell out at
Mhm.
every live event if you put CM Punk bracelets
Mhm.
on that merch table
That's right.
for since what, like
It
just
it
after
okay, it could be a safety
it
hazard,
it,
but,
it, it, it could be a few other things too.
that's true.
It's since what, after Mania, you've had this entire time.
Oh, see, Christy likes the lady with the hair.
Who's that lady with Chris, you talk about Julia, the new woman who
Well,
just came out on
the
NXT?
one with the hair.
No, this is not, no, you're having a
Christy,
different
would you buy a
conversation.
hair extension for $15?
She's again, we're moving on. I know who
I don't
Christy is
understand the
talking
issue.
about, and no, Christy, I don't believe that that is the woman that
I don't
the woman
understand
we
the
were
issue.
talking about was not the one that you're thinking of. If you're thinking about the one that we were watching the other night. But CM Punk,
Mhm.
a quarter
Quarter.
a bracelet, you sell it for $10, you're selling out
Right?
at every fucking show.
Right?
Why have they not done this?
'Cause they're idiots.
Because they're idiots.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're moving on from that. The match,
Mhm.
I thought it was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. At one point, I was like, "Who the fuck are these 2 old men in the ring?" Because they looked old. They just looked tired. Both of them. Both Drew and
I
Punk.
don't know, man. Drew's been looking good lately.
Blakely's comment was, "Is he sweating just for men's?" Like,
You know what? Christy made a similar comment about that the other day
yeah,
too when I was watching it.
yeah.
Like, his hair
It's
is
so
very
black.
black.
It's so black.
It's so black.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I guess right now it's kind of like that's his look.
Uh-huh.
So you can't really change it. Like he's got to go away for an extended period of time, come back fresh, you know,
Mhm.
shorten it up, change the facial hair, have a new non-worker attire, because right now he's doing the jeans, the boots, and the tank
Mhm.
top.
Right.
So it works for what he's doing right now. Um,
He can always go short hair,
can always go short hair,
Yeah.
change it up, live a new life. Um, but I was hoping in my heart after Punk won, I was like, yes, it's it's over.
It's over finally.
He got the bracelet
Got
back.
it. Got it.
He's back in it. He won his first match. This is great. I'm excited. I'm happy to not hear about a fucking bracelet ever again
Yep.
in pro wrestling. And then sure enough, Monday night happened.
Mhm. I
And
mean, it is broken,
it
spoiler.
is broken, but something tells me it ain't over.
Now, maybe they learned.
Maybe.
And maybe they didn't wanna merchandise a bracelet that had, like, his wife's and dog's name
No,
on it.
you just put his name on it.
Well, now a new bracelet can come out that has his
Oh,
name on it, and that's what will be sold at the merchandise stands going forward.
it's no, because you had no. I mean, they should at this
Because the
point. They
thing is,
should.
like, you're splitting royalties 4 ways then.
Oh,
Like, you got Drew's getting royalties for putting it over, you got Punk's getting royalties and then you gotta pay AJ and you gotta pay the dog.
no, you're thinking too hard. Don't think so hard. I'm saying just put Punk's
Larry's
name
gotta
on
get
it.
his check, okay?
I'm sure Larry's doing just fine. But I will say this though, like, imagine being the woman who made that at age 12 or whatever, however old
Right,
she was at that
sure.
time, going up to your favorite wrestler at a photo shoot or photo op and just saying like, "Hey, I made this for you," just like as a super fan. He's
Sure.
like, "Oh, great," and then he starts to wear it, and then 15 years later,
Mm-hmm.
this thing that you made for 25 cents,
Yep,
or however much it was, ends up being the core of one of the hottest feuds in the industry. Like, imagine that. Like, imagine you're 12 years old,
right?
and you go up to your favorite wrestler, and you say, I'm a really big fan. I made this for you, and I hope you'll like it. And they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And then 15, 20 years later, they're in the middle of the biggest feud in the industry
over that item. And there was some talks in the internet about how she was kind of upset that she wasn't being compensated.
It was not that. No, she even came out and was like, guys, I'm not being serious. I'm joking.
Well, the thing is, and I don't necessarily disagree with her.
I mean, I don't.
Like, I feel like, so in the world of AI,
yeah,
right? Like, there's a big thing right now where artists are against AI because AI is basically ripping off their art to create fake art or real art. All art's bullshit. Okay.
Art is bullshit.
And so is this bracelet. So at the end of the day, if art is bullshit and so is this bracelet, but you're willing to pay $15,000 for somebody who fucking put some oil paintings on a goddamn canvas, throw her some like fucking Mania tickets.
If I'm a betting man, which I'm not, but I would bet on this. Somebody is sending her a couple care packages in the mail.
Could be.
I mean, you don't get to that point and where you're now publicly known as the woman who made that, and having the wrestlers interact with you on Twitter, and not be getting something. Yeah, and if she's not receiving anything like tickets or merch or a fucking payout, then they're doing her dirty.
Well, at the very least, like she can do the con circuit. Like she can be bracelet. She could get a booth.
Oh my god!
Like she should.
Just
like you can go. All right. You got $15 to spend. Okay, you're going to the Comic-Con, right? Your options are you can go get a picture with the CM Punk bracelet girl. You can go get a picture with the Hawk 2 girl, or you can get.
No, okay, stop what you're doing right now. Stop what you're doing right now. Okay, because you went in a direction I was hoping you wouldn't go in because I had a bit. You stole my bit.
Oh no.
Okay, you stole my bit. Because what I was gonna say was she should go to cons and sell bracelets.
Yeah, totally.
$10 a pop.
$10 a pop.
$15 a pop.
She would make all the money.
Because what I was gonna say was, if the Hawktua girl can launch a podcast at a digital media platform, then there's no reason why this woman should not be making money.
And God bless everyone. Like, more power to everybody.
Do you know what the Hawktua girl's the name of her podcast is?
I do not.
I got to look it up because I don't want to get it wrong.
Okay. Is it wonderful?
It's her new podcast is Talk Tua.
And
I'm like, that is fucking brilliant. And like everybody's like shitting on her. And I'm like, no.
Talk Tua is good.
If you're given this 15 minutes of fame, you have a choice.
Capitalize.
You can be the person who rides it until you just become the parody of yourself. Or you can say, hey, let's see how far this can go.
Let's make a buck.
Let's make a buck. Let's make a buck if we can.
See, I would have called it spitting in the wind. But like, talk to you is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Let me hawk Tua. No,
exactly.
That's not. Nope.
No, it's not as good.
Nope.
It's not as good.
All right, we got to get through the rest of this fucking show.
All right, so the women's tag, fine.
Punk Drew, fine.
Punk Drew is fine. Yeah, I think that's the only. Now next, the mixed tag match.
Mixed tag.
We had finally legend Dominic Mysterio.
Legendary. The Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
In
Dominic
my heart
Mysterio.
and yours. Dominic Mysterio.
Going up against with Liv Morgan.
With Liv.
Going up against Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
My number one fucking comment on this match.
Okay.
Another reason Dominic, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
Not many dudes can pull off tassels. And the motherfucker can pull off some tassels.
Everything he does.
It's wonderful.
Everything he touches is
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Absolutely incredible. I'm like, is Big Daddy Cool in there? Like what's going on? It's wonderful.
It is amazing. Again, and we continue to beat this drum, but it is amazing to me how this guy who's only been in the company for a few years now,
under 5 probably.
Under 5 has, and again, yes, his dad is Rey Mysterio. This is a little bit of nepotism there.
It's fine.
But it's one of those situations where like he could have burned out quick. Like I was expecting him to burn out quick.
I was too, but the thing, here's the true mark of a professional, a real professional.
Yeah.
When you can go on the world's biggest podcast and ask the dude if he's ever been to Japan, who cannot go to Japan, the biggest heater of all time, fucking tremendous. Wonderful.
You should look up the clip. So Taker has got his podcast. The guy that he does the show with was telling him about it. And Taker popped huge. It's just, but seriously though,
so
like it's everything he has done to this point and has continued to do just works. Because if it's good, if it looks great, it's because of his talent. It's because he knows what he's doing. If it looks bad, if it looks gross, then it just plays more into his character.
Plays into the character.
It plays into the character. Yep. Like his greasy hair, his marvelous mustache, his magnificent mullet, the tassels, the cow vest.
Oh, it's wonderful.
The fucking chicken tendies and ranch, like he is again, best heel in the business right now. Best heel in the business. Cannot be touched.
Cannot be touched.
Yeah.
The match itself was fine. It was a fine match.
Yeah.
Judgment Day got involved, and there was some shenanigans. Again, you had the dueling Razor's Edge.
Yep.
On the show. The one thing that the wife pointed out, and you can only get this perspective from the female point of view on this show, is whatever the women, wherever they are getting their fishnets, these are magical fishnets.
Yeah.
Okay. Because number one, yes, they did tear eventually.
Yeah.
But they held up extremely well. And then the wife also pointed this out. Both women in this match were wearing chains.
Oh, yeah.
That did not get caught up in the fishnets.
Nope.
And they did not get caught up in each other's fishnets, which is even more impressive as they're doing, physical moves to each other. So shout out to the magical fishnets.
Whoever's making the gimmicks over there.
It's wonderful. Quality product.
That's actually another thing too, is you talk about the Hall of Fame. We need to start inducting people outside of the ring.
Oh yeah.
Into the Hall of Fame.
Those production workers?
We do need production workers. We need backstage people. Like the people that make the robes, that make the outfits, that make the gear. Like
the sewists.
The sewists?
Yeah, that's the politically correct way to say that.
Okay.
Seamstress is demeaning.
Okay. Well, hey, I'm not an expert in it. but yeah, like some of the shit that they were making, it's phenomenal.
Absolutely phenomenal. Didn't get caught once.
Mm-hmm.
Rhea did pin Liv using the Riptide, and the wife was also watching, and she saw the pin, and she's like, "Oh, that's for the European audience." That's. And I said, "Yes, it is, and for me,
And
and for you, and for everybody,
and for the world,
and for the world,
mm-hmm.
pro bono."
We got Gunther and Orton.
And okay.
Where are you at with this one?
Again, I just want to say how much I love Randy Orton.
Right.
Because 15 minutes of this match was watching a confused old Randy Orton move furniture. Like he pulled the table out,
yeah,
and then didn't, and then cleared off, and then he moved the steps, and then he was gassed, and he had to sit down for a minute.
Yeah,
and after me and the wife were looking at each other, just like we're watching an old man move furniture. Like that's what's happening on the screen for the past 10 minutes.
Right.
It's absolutely, and the amount of motherfucking times that they rolled in to break the count. Right. Because they were just chilling on the outside. I'm like, God, little Nate is trying. All right.
I also love how they even commented on Charles Robinson. Charles Robinson's probably going to let this go a little bit more than, usual. Yeah. He's been in a number of, he's refereed a lot of heavyweight title matches, and, he certainly doesn't want to have a decision made, just out of haste or whatever. I was like, we know, like they're taking their time. They're milking.
God, were they taking their time?
Yeah.
And the thing I love most about Randy Orton is when things don't go correctly, he doesn't give a shit.
No. You see it in his face too.
He shrugs it off, and he's like, "It's fine." Like he's headlined more WrestleManias than most people will ever get the opportunity to even go to WrestleMania.
Dude has been in the WWE for over 20 years straight.
Which is wild.
I don't know of many other, and has wrestled consistently. I mean, there was that one period of time where he was kind of out with the back injury. I think he had a neck problem at one point too. What do you know of any other wrestler? Maybe Triple H. Probably Triple H. I would say Triple H and Orton. You could maybe say Taker.
Taker might have it.
I think you could say Taker, where they had been regularly employed and had wrestled throughout the majority of that time, but have been regularly employed within the WWE. At least of the current generation, from mid 80s to now, the past 40 years, I don't know of many other guys or gals that have gone that long and have done as much stuff as they have.
No, it's absolutely incredible. What he's accomplished, how long he's been there, and for doing almost nothing at the same time. He does the bare minimum.
He works smart.
He works
smart.
Smarter, not harder.
Yep.
And the other thing I will say about this match was watching this match with my 8-year-old son. Okay. And he sat and watched most of the show. He's got a lot of energy. So, he's in and out, but for the most part, it kept his attention. But there's some things that an 8-year-old brain processes doesn't watch. I don't let him watch wrestling a lot because I don't want that life for him. But there's some things that logic, you just can't get past as an 8-year-old, right?
Okay.
For instance, Randy Orton was clearing off the announce table to put Gunther through said announce table. And the 8-year-old boy goes, well, wouldn't it hurt more if he just left that shit on? And I'm like, yes, it would, son.
Yes, it would.
And then and then they pulled out the table and set the table up ringside. And he goes, well, wouldn't it just hurt more if he fell on the floor? And I'm like, yes, it would, son. Yes, it would. So, like, he knows I was a wrestler for a long time.
Yeah.
And when I have to be like, no, you're right.
You got to go with a little bit of theatrics, though. I mean, yeah, 100% right. Like, getting slammed on a table that is covered with technology and monitors and pens and pencils and bottles and shit, that's going to hurt a lot more. It's also going to damage your company's equipment.
Right.
Which, you know, throwing it off of the table probably isn't any more safe for the, for the equipment.
I'll explain it in the morning. He get, like, the wrestlers get docked pay if they break the equipment.
So just fucking hawking a tablet 20 feet.
Exactly.
That's okay. But
no,
if they
it's
get slammed on it.
It's got an otter box.
It's
fine. You know.
Yeah, they do have otter boxes on that.
Exactly. Like it'll be fine. You know.
I do. You know, it's funny that he brought that up, because thinking about it now, I'm like, it really is. Like, it's just for the show.
It's just for
because
the show.
What's going to make the crowd pop more? Just picking a guy up and putting him through the table, or ripping off the top cover, whacking everything out?
I gotta tell you, probably the biggest pop I've had in a table spot in the past 20 years has to be the first time AJ Styles did the phenomenal forearm through the announcer's tape, like did the springboard and then jumped and did, because you did not expect, like, you've seen it 1,000 times of people clear off the fucking table, it's set up for the move, whatever the fuck. Like, there was no clearing off the table. He just jumped, did it. The guy jumped at just the right time, and the whole thing fucking went. And I was like, holy Christ. Like, that was a great goddamn moment.
I will say, like, those spots where it just happens, those are the best.
Those are the best.
Those are the best, because eventually it does become Chekhov's gun. You know, it's when you introduce the crowd to a cleared table, somebody has to go through it. It's Chekhov's table.
Yep.
You know, Chekhov's Spanish announce table. So somebody's got to go through it. I think there had been a couple of times where somebody cleared it off and they didn't go through it. I'm just like, fuck.
I mean, I love the spot, and it happened on the show where someone pulls out the table and then the heel puts it back. Like, that's a tremendous spot.
Tremendous.
Love it.
Yeah.
Works every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it like, when an 8-year-old is finding flaws in the logic of the thing, like, you kind of have to be very but the other thing too is, like, he was popping huge for, like, leg slapping kicks and, like, leg slapping headbutts, and, like, he was popping huge for those. I'm like, okay, well, those tricks still work.
Those tricks still work.
You know, they're still for kids.
Smacking Randy in the back of the head and, like, putting him in a sleeper.
He was so unhappy about that. Like, he was not happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But overall, it was a fine show.
Yeah. Overall, I thought it was a fine show. And I know we're running out of time, so I want to pull together the idea and the thought that I had after the
yes,
show,
please,
and sort of like where they can go next, because they did make it a point to say that, you know, Kevin Owens had not won a singles title in the past 7 years. Like, they were very much like hitting home on that point.
Yep.
And there was, like, the whole, well, you know, he's not going to pull the trigger on being the dastardly heel. He's not going to take advantage of an injury. He's going to play it straight. And then he came up short. And it kind of seemed like he was playing it up in a way where he's just like, he's frustrating himself. His head's not in it. So I was like, okay, like where are they going to go with that? And then there's like the thing with Randy. Randy came back, and you know he's had a great showing since he's come back, but he's
Sure.
always sort of come up short in the matches that matter most. He lost at the Rumble and the four
Mhm.
way. He lost at where he lost the King of the Ring to Gunther. He lost the heavyweight title match to Gunther, and it's like, well, like he can't just keep on going and being this guy who like is always going to come up short.
Right.
And then you've got Drew McIntyre, who, despite his efforts to keep, you know, CM Punk down, he's still got this thorn in his side because it's really much like Drew wants to move on
Right. Okay.
and sort of get Punk out of the way.
Right.
But every time he thinks he's moved on, Punk comes back. And then every time Punk moves on, Drew comes back because Drew can't let him continue on.
Okay.
So I'm like, where do you take all of this? And that dawned on me. How do you get all of these guys who are top guys that just keep coming up short? And it kind of feels like maybe they're starting to lose a little bit of their value in terms of, you know, storylines. You start pulling in all of these guys who have been around for a while, who kind of seem like they're starting to get lost in the shuffle. Like your Drews, your Kevin Owens, your Randy Ortons, throw in the Miz.
Okay.
All guys who've kind of been there for a while. And like, don't make it just like a small group of 3, 4, 5. Have it be cross brand.
Okay.
And you sort of do this like Millionaires Club-esque gimmick where it's all of these guys who have been established, who have been on top, but can't really get back on top because there's something in the way. And you start having them feud against your Punks, your Codys, all of the new fresh talent that's coming in and kind of taking their spot.
Right.
So you kind of it's not so much a basically what I'm sort of getting at is like, remember back in WCW when they had the new blood and they had all the old timers,
The gimmick that put them out of business. Yeah.
the gimmick that put them out of business, but
Yeah.
do that but better.
See, that's not where I thought you were going to go with this.
Where would you thought I was going to go with it?
I thought for sure you were going to say that Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton should start the 3-man band again.
No.
Bring back Heath.
I mean, if they brought back Heath, that would be great. I mean, like,
Right.
I'm all for more Heath Slater on my TV.
Sure.
But I think because you know,
Swoggle
right
him.
now they're bringing up a lot of new talent. And it's going to get to a point where the shows are going to be too stacked. And you're going to have too much going on and too many people trying to fight for their spot. But why not? Because it seems like the faction thing and the stables are like all the rage right now.
Oh yeah, no, they're back in
Yeah.
in the fashion.
But I think what this allows you to do is the people who are already feuding, they stay over there and they keep their feuds. They keep doing their thing. But rather than have all of these established stars start losing value per se, you make that the angle. You make the angle of, you know, we're not getting what we want. It's not working out the way that we want. So we're going to take what we want and we're going to work together to basically take everybody out, take all the titles, and put ourselves back on top. And kind of run it that way. And I think you can do it where it's not just on Raw. It's not just on SmackDown. Hell, it's not even just on NXT. You know, you send a couple guys, send fucking Sheamus down to NXT and have him just win the title.
How cool would it be if you did a series, like at the summer, over the summer, or you know, spring to fall, whatever the fuck, where you have four stables, 4 factions, all vying to get all the belts, right? and you almost do, like you could almost do like tournament style or something along the lines where titles are changing hand. It's kind of like in a Rubik's cube. You switch to one thing and then you have to switch something else, and you're trying to put all the pieces together so that finally the faction ends up with the belts, and then they get a goddamn cup. I don't fucking know. Like it could right.
I heard
Give me
like
the
5
peps.
different angles all in one.
Sure, it's got like you could run it like the G1, but then also at the same time, like there's different blocks. There's all sorts of things. They'll do it in AEW and it'll be terrible.
Right.
But I think that you might be onto something.
Yeah, I mean, like the idea isn't fully fleshed out, but like I'm thinking like you got to do something to keep, because like these are also like the established players.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just let them slide.
No,
you got to keep them up. You got to keep them up on the platform. But how do you keep them there while still building everybody else on the card?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that everybody gets their shine, everybody gets their spot, and everybody gets their opportunity. I think you build a stable of just bitter wrestlers, have it be cross brand, and then it basically becomes like it basically becomes like the WWE versus like the new era of the NWO. You know?
Okay.
But better. But better than anything WCW has done.
See, that but better part is where people kind of get hung up, because they've tried that like 4 times between like WCW, TNA, fucking
like
this angle that you're pitching. Like it's been done.
Oh yeah, it's been done a bunch of times,
but not well, like ever.
Not well. But if you do it well, if you just do it better, do what they did, but better, you know.
And you know what, like, and if it doesn't go well, the fans will forgive you. They'll forgive almost anything.
No. I think that does it for tonight.
So if you like what you've heard tonight, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It is your civic duty. It is your duty to this community to follow us on Facebook. Like all that shit.
Like it all. We stream there. We're streaming back on Twitch. Streaming on a couple different platforms now, because we have no exclusivity.
Nope.
Brainwreck TV is wherever you want to be.
That's right.
Twitch,
That's right.
Facebook.
Get your t-shirt.
Not Twitter, because they don't let us stream there anymore. YouTube. YouTube's our home, our house.
It's where we live.
It's where we live. Come hang out.
Please.
Doors open. Put your feet up. Stick around.
We're a couple nice guys.
Yeah.
Look at us.
I got a lot of stories I'll tell you. Hunker down.
Hunker down.
I got a lot of opinions too.
And you're going to hear every single one.
You're going to hear every single one of them.
That's right.
So.
All right. Well, for this week, I've been Jason X.
I'm Kevin Graham.
And this has been your show.
Peace.